All right, y'all. So be honest. Have y'all tried it yet? The DeepSeek app, DeepSeek AI. I tell you what, we was talking about it in my house and somebody pulled it up, and the when you pulled up the app, it was all in like Chinese. The wording up under it, right there, it kind of spooked me because I don't know. You know, we have our history with back and forth with China and everything going on, so it makes me kind of skeptical. But I'm hearing nothing but great reviews about it. I'm just a little bit hesitant. Let me know what y'all think. All right. So listen, before we get into the craziness, man, y'all know how this goes. Question everything. You should. And remember, this is for entertainment purposes only. Let's get to it.
DeepSeek is causing quite the stir in the AI and tech world. So the Chinese company, they released a new AI chatbot, which according to them is better, cheaper, and uses less energy. Now, tech analysts say that it's nearly as good as OpenAI's ChatGPT, and DeepSeek claims that it cost just under $6 million to develop, compared to $100 million to $1 billion for most US models. Now, on top of that, the company uses thousands of less chips to design this particular AI model. Predictably, this really spooked investors. The tech-heavy NASDAQ lost over 600 points. NVIDIA alone lost nearly $600 billion in market value. That's the largest single-day loss for a stock ever. And companies that are heavily investing in AI also took a hit. We saw major volatility in stocks like Microsoft, Meta, Alphabet. And so this really calls into question American chip makers like NVIDIA. I mean, if DeepSeek created a comparable product with less power, NVIDIA's business model could be in trouble. And beyond that, Meta's
And I get it. I get it. As an investor, you want to be like, hey, man, why am I investing in you when they can make this money? They can do this over here for cheaper. I can invest in them. They're probably going to blow this up. I'm going to make money, possibly get rich. I totally get that aspect of it. But be cautious now. Be cautious, bro, because every time something seems too good to be true, it usually is.
Is investing $65 billion in data centers. President Trump just announced a private sector $500 billion investment in Stargate. Based on DeepSeek's model, these companies could be doing the same, but for less money. Now, you zoom out, if we think of the AI race as a baseball game, we're still in the early innings of a doubleheader, if you will. But this does undermine the assumption that the U.S. has a major edge over China in the AI race. DeepSeek is causing...
Yeah, that's why I said the other day when we was talking about it, this is China flexing. They're just showing their muscle. They're pretty much saying, look what we can do with less. With less. And I feel like they haven't even shown what they can do with this thing yet, really. This is just, this is just an initial rollout.
So I haven't had a toaster strudel in like 15 years, man. Not much has changed. Still shorting on the frosting. But I tell you, man, I just took a couple bites and I was like thinking to myself, I'm like, there's a funny aftertaste here. I'm like, tastes like straight chemicals. So I look at the back of the box. Not only are two pastries one serving with 13 grams of fat and 53 carbs, but let's look down to this ingredient list here. Okay, flour, high fructose corn syrup, got that. Now let's get to the good stuff. Supposedly contains 2% or less of cornstarch, modified cornstarch, hydrogenated palm oil, salt, yeast, whey, corn syrup, wheat starch, whey protein concentrate, okay, strawberry juice concentrate, that's all right. Let's get to the good stuff. Carboxymethylcellulose, sodium citrate, microcrystalline cellulose, preservative, sodium benzoate, potassium sorbate, TBHQ, citric acid, xanthan gum, polysorbate 60, natural and artificial flavor, red 40, blue 1, artificial color, contains bioengineered food ingredients. So a host of those ingredients are all really bad for you, but I'm just going to focus on this red dye 40, okay? If y'all don't know about red dye 40, it says that the whole food industry dumps about 15 million pounds of artificial dyes into our food every year, over 40% of which is red dye 40, a petroleum-based substance. Meanwhile, parents and schools are feeding kids Pillsbury toaster strudels, and there's been an ongoing connection between red dye 40 and ADD and ADHD. Multiple studies published in journals such as Pediatrics show that artificial food dyes, as well as preservative sodium benzoate, which is in here, can make some non-ADHD kids hyperactive. So it's not just a sugar rush. Artificial dyes may trigger mind storms, which are issues with the brain's wiring or electrical activity. So it's saying, it says that your brain's an electrochemical engine. The neurotransmitters that helps us think, feel, and act. This is literally causing our system to go haywire, and especially for developing brains in children. These mind storms were even proved on a brain imaging scan that showed blood flow and activity in the brain, where a parent of one of these children said that they noticed after they had some kind of snack with this red 40 that they became more aggressive and hostile. They would usually cry and storm off and huff and puff and throw things. So you can see this brain scan here. You can see it's left. So I haven't had it too.
So y'all mean to tell me I could have probably not got as many whippings I got growing up if I wouldn't have had some of this sugary stuff in my food, these chemicals in my food? I would have been less hyperactive, less kind of like combative and responsive towards adults and stuff like that, and wouldn't got in so much trouble. So you're telling me back talk comes from these chemicals? And another thing, man, like the frustrating thing about toaster strudels, because I used to mess them up. Didn't you just hate when you put one in the toaster and pop it out, get it all iced up, and then you bite into it and it's still cold in the middle? Oh, that used to burn me up, man. I used to be upset about that, bro, because I got the icing on it now. I can't put it back in there. Oh, that used to fire me up, bro. I'm sorry, but this is crazy. My kids now, when they see me coming, they put their fingers in their ear because they don't want to hear me rattling off the ingredients to stuff now. It's crazy.
You know, I see these things every night. I see them so much I don't post it anymore because I see them every night. Not just one or two. I see about a good handful, 2 handfuls of them in the sky, the drones. And Trump came out and said, well, these things are authorized drones from the FAA and also hobbyists. And I think he also stated some law enforcement. They're doing research and stuff. And that's all well and good. And I don't know how I feel about that answer. It feels like that answer is sort of jumping over the exact details and sort of giving a response that would calm people down. But what we still don't know is, what are the drones? Because yeah, what are the orbs? Because yeah, these drones are up there, but so are the orbs. 4 days ago, I saw a big one up in the sky, and I was just looking outside. And I didn't record, I didn't have my phone, I was just looking up, and it stood there in the sky, not moving. Then 3 different orbs came out of one side of it, bloop, 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 and all 3 of them became drones and started flying around. Then the one that was just an orb flew off to the side. So yeah, we have drones, but what are these orbs that are also transforming into drones? Are they them as well? Are these orbs actually capable of changing its shape into a drone and give off features like a aircraft, like a plane with the lights and everything? Because these things do not move like planes at all. They don't blink like planes, nothing. You can tell right now, I mean, I see them so much that I can tell you, oh yeah, that's a drone, that's a drone. How fast they move across the sky, the way they are. But yeah, we got a response and an update for the drones. That's cool. I mean, that's the answer given. That's a good answer. We have to accept it. We don't have anything else. But what are the orbs? No one's told us what the orbs are, and they're still up there, and they're pretending to be drones. Can someone fill us in with that? You know, I see these things every...
That's what I'm saying, bro. Like, and maybe it is. Maybe they're up there. They've reverse engineered the crafts they've recovered from the retrieval program, and maybe they have designed something successfully, and now they're testing it, quote unquote, testing it. So you're seeing maybe drones come out of other drones and fly and could possibly have weapons on it to be able to attack and do different things like that. They're just not telling us. If we're gonna truly believe that's our stuff up there, that's our government, that's our military stuff, then okay, then it's something else they're not telling us. Bottom line, it boils down to it's something they're not telling us.
From baguettes to focaccia, Europe is famous for its bread, but one ingredient is missing. Potassium bromate is a suspected carcinogen that's banned for human consumption in Europe as well as China and India, but legal in the US, where it's used by some food makers to strengthen dough and estimated to be present in over 100 products.
There is evidence that it may be toxic to human consumers, that it may even either initiate or promote the development of tumours.
Professor Eric Millstone is an expert on food additives and told us European countries take a much more cautious approach to food safety.
Can we say for sure that these differences in regulations mean that people in the US have developed cancers that they would not have developed if they'd been eating only in Europe?
I think that that is almost certainly the conclusion that we could reach.
It's not just potassium bromate, but many other chemicals and substances that are banned here in Europe over health concerns, but considered safe by the FDA.
Like, if it wasn't so expensive, I would try to order my food and have it shipped here to us. Like, from other countries at this point. I would definitely try that out. But I know that would cost me a limb. I don't know if it's the arm or the leg, which one it is going to be, but it's going to cost me one because it'd be so expensive to the point where you just couldn't afford it. But this is ridiculous. To hear somebody make that statement that we wouldn't otherwise have contracted some of these issues that we have, and people that have or loved ones we lost to these conditions, if we'd been eating from other places, bro, I ain't gonna lie, that kind of that make you mad right there, bro. That just angers me.
Please can someone help explain how on this flight the moon is below the horizon by quite some way?
The Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King, 39 years old and a Nobel Peace Prize winner, and the leader of the nonviolent civil rights movement in the United States, was assassinated in Memphis tonight. A sniper's bullet cut down Dr. King as he stood on a hotel balcony in Memphis. Within an hour, Dr. King was dead. That happened at 7 p.m. Eastern Time. The nation was shocked. President Johnson expressed horror and then postponed his trip to Hawaii until tomorrow. We're going to go to Memphis now and talk to ABC's Tom Gerald, who is on the scene.
Of course, a great deal of confusion and chaos resulting from the announcement here that Dr. King had died. It was a very great shock for something like this to happen. This is where the shooting occurred tonight, where Dr. King was killed. The Lorraine Motel is a favorite place for Negro leaders to stay while in Memphis. It's a very nice new modern motel. He was on the second floor balcony, standing exactly where these two officers are, talking with some of his aides at the time of the shooting. The scene immediately became confused. Officers ran forward and attempted to secure the area. The shot apparently came from an apartment building directly across the street. The members of Dr. King's staff were there discussing a mass rally which was planned for tonight. They said that suddenly there was a sound that sounded faintly like a firecracker or something, and
he was talking about
then he was shot.
The musical program for tonight's mass rally.
Yeah.
And he had asked you to play a special tune.
Yes, yeah.
Did he say anything after he was shot? Could you tell how seriously he was wounded?
He just said, "Oh," and it knocked him back, off his feet. That was the musical director for Dr. King's group, Ben Branch. He was standing alongside Dr. King when the shot came that killed Dr. King. In fact, Dr. King was discussing tonight's musical program with Ben Branch at the very moment when the shot was fired. The shot, as I say, apparently came from an apartment building which had a number of floors and overlooked the motel. It was a very clear shot to the place where Dr. King was standing on the balcony discussing the situation with his aides. The police here in Memphis immediately issued a bulletin for a young white man dressed in dark clothes who dashed out of that building across the street. He dropped a Browning automatic rifle, which was fitted with a scope, on the sidewalk, and then he fled.
The Reverend Dr. Martin Luther.
Heartbreaking still to this day, just to hear that and actually see, you know what I mean, the actual recording the news from that night. Heartbreaking. April 4th, 1968. I was not born. And if you were alive at that time, please tell us, like, what were you hearing? What was it? What was going on? What was everybody saying? How was it? You know, give us a play-by-play if you were alive, or what was happening around you. You know, how were people responding and different things like that. You know, I love to hear the stories from people's account and different accounts at that, to hear about those times, man. This is our history. It's definitely our history.
I just got a letter from DHS. They have cut off my food stamps.
Ladies and gentlemen, America is back. We are now holding people accountable for their actions. The EBT community is in shambles. Let's watch.
Cash assistance, disability for me, all 6 of my kids.
Who are the men? Who are the 6 disciples who sat down and said, you know what? Procreation? This the one. Who are those men? And why? Does that say 3.3 thousand? She get 3,000 a month?
And my Section 8.
DHS has taken my 3.3 thousand in EBT. Wow. Jeez, bro, y'all out here getting $3,000 a month? Is that for the year or for the month? I think that's for the month. $3,000 for the month is crazy to hear. Man, I'm jealous, bro. $3,000 a month. You know what I could do in groceries with that? $900 cash benefits, disability, and my Section 8. They are forcing me to pay back $48,000 and taking my $40K tax. God, $40K tax. What am I doing with my life?
What do they expect me to do?
Get a job. J-O-B. A jobby job. Work. Take care of your own damn kids.
I have been getting welfare since I was 19 years old.
EBT lifer. Thank you for your service. Your services are no longer needed over here. You're cut off.
Over 10 years I have been on welfare.
I think as a country, we need to understand the detriment that this type of lifestyle causes to the country and to families. These people are incentivized to continue to just procreate.
I just got a letter from DA.
I'm still stuck on 6 kids, $40K tax refund. Man, I'm trying to make it through the year and not have to pay. Like, I'm trying to get to a point, like, 40K, is that, how is that 40K tax refund? Bro, I've never heard of anything like this. And 3,000 in EBT. Sheesh. My back hurting now. Like, this made my back hurt. Like, my back hurt. I don't know why. I don't know. This, please tell me what y'all think. I'm running to the comment section to see what y'all think.
Oh my soul, this is big. So, do you remember the drones that were flying over New Jersey and everybody just kind of like forgot about it because all the other chaotic things that were happening, because of the fires in California, because of the hurricanes, whatever. All this stuff happened and we forgot about the drones flying in space where everybody was sitting there coming up with their own conspiracies. Well, guess what? It's finally out and it's facts. So TikTok, please don't ban this video because last time you did. But guess what? Just like I said before, the administration knew exactly what it was doing the whole time. Turns out that a lot of those drones that were flying up there were cleared by the FAA. Not only that, but they were cleared by the FAA to do research for the Biden administration. Now, what were they researching? We obviously have no idea, and that's okay. But the bottom line is that we have a government that does these things and sits there like, oh, wow, I can't believe this is happening, when they knew full well the whole time exactly what they were doing. That is crazy. I mean, it's so crazy, but at the same time, it's like, duh, you knew that they knew, but you didn't have any proof. So it just came out thanks to the incredible work of our new press secretary, Caroline Levitt. Thank you, and I appreciate you, and I appreciate everything that's coming out now because it's all out there and they can't hide it. Amazing.
I still don't think they gave us it all, though. And that could be possibly, that could be some of the truth. That could be what they want us to know. Like, I'm just not the person to believe that they just came to the podium and just said, this is what it was, this is what it is, here are the facts. No. I just, maybe I've been lied to too much. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't take that as that because they're still not addressing the orbs.
Yesterday's lottery ticket. Yesterday's lottery ticket.
So the White House press conference just announced an update on the drones in New Jersey, which we know they were all over the United States, if not other countries. So the FAA authorized them to be there for research and other reasons. And these include hobbyists and just people that just got curious and wanted to fly their drones. No, these were the size of a small SUV. So no. What research? What research? So the White House...
Agreed. I'm with her. What research? Huh? And I was screaming that from the top of my lungs. Who has SUV-sized drones just at their house? Especially the amount we were seeing. It just wasn't in New Jersey. They were all over. Stop it. Stop it. Like, y'all trying to make it seem like we just dumb, and we're not.
Stock market's opened just a few minutes ago, and it's not pretty. Down big, especially the tech-heavy NASDAQ. CNN's Matt Egan is here to explain what we're seeing and why, Matt.
Yeah, John, we've got a bit of a tech sell-off this morning, and it's being caused by earth-shattering developments in the AI space. So let's take a look at this. Did you see the Dow down more than 140 points right now? The S&P solidly lower, but the real action is over here in the NASDAQ, 600 points lower, nearly 3%, on track for one of its worst days in the past 2 years. And here's why. There's a Chinese startup that few people had ever heard of until the past few days, and it has emerged as a real player in the AI arms race. It's called DeepSeek, and investors, and I would imagine officials in Washington, are stunned to learn that DeepSeek's AI model has developed technology that can actually be competitive with OpenAI and Google and XAI and all these more established players. It's only been around for a bit, but DeepSeek has already vaulted to the top of the App Store on Apple as the most downloaded app, passing ChatGPT, which is pretty shocking. Look at that, number one. Veteran investor, billionaire Mark Andreessen, he's a legendary tech investor. He said that DeepSeek is, quote, one of the most amazing and impressive breakthroughs that he has ever seen. Now, the most stunning thing here...
Again, do we expect something different? China, we're aware of China's capabilities when it comes to technology. So why are we expecting something like different? I don't understand that part of it.
Isn't necessarily that China has developed a pretty good AI app. it's how cheap it is. DeepSeek says that their AI model only cost $5.6 million. Now, we don't know that, but if that's true, that is pretty stunning. Anthropic, one of the leading AI companies, has said that it costs about $100 million to $1 billion to develop an AI model. We know that Mark Zuckerberg, the Meta CEO, says that his company plans to spend $65 billion on AI. So, John, look, this is all really questioning sort of the foundation here of the AI boom, which is that it requires a lot of spending, which is that the U.S. is running away with the AI arms race, and it's also questioning some of the big positives that had pushed markets to record highs.
A lot of people put a lot of money into AI, and now they're wondering if that money is needed the way that some of these American companies have said it is.
Exactly.
We just don't know if the claims being made by these Chinese companies.
Yeah, this is moving so fast. It's stunning.
All right, we're going to stay on top of this. As we said, big drops, especially in the NASDAQ.
Speaking a lot more about DeepSeek, it's one of these big stocks that has really changed the game, it seems, in just a couple of days. Without warning, a big unknown Chinese firm rattling the U.S. market. Shelley Palmer is CEO of the Palmer Group and a professor of advanced media. He joins me now from New York. Shelley, great to have you with us.
Great to be here.
It seems like there's a bit of a coup happening in the AI space. Tell me about DeepSeek, what you know about it. I mean, it's a startup. It's 1-year-old company. A lot of people are downloading it. And the question is it taking on the big guys in the United States?
So DeepSeek is a company out of China. It is a startup. As you said, it's about a year old. They have a model called DeepSeek V3, and in the last little bit, they released R1, which is a reasoning engine, and it's open source on an MIT license. You can download it. The magic here is that instead of taking months to train and hundreds of millions of dollars, it took under 2 months to train and cost under, according to the company, under $6 million to train. When you download it, you can post-train it, and pre-trained transformer models need to be post-trained in order to be valuable. And the compute cost is a fraction. We're talking a few percentage points fraction of what it costs to use the large language models from the big hyperscalers and foundational model builders like OpenAI or Anthropic or any of the other large foundational model builders. So this cost savings, along with the basically lightweight of the model, meaning you can download it and run it on a laptop, has sent kind of shivers through the spines, because what this really means is there's a possible future where algorithmic efficiency beats brute force computation. And the entire AI industry in the United States and around the world has been thinking about high-level computation and big data centers and a lot of energy use and chips. And now they're thinking, maybe not.
Now, to me, this also says that robots are a lot closer than we think. Right? We still think they're far out, but they're a lot closer. Because if you ever played around with ChatGPT, one of the things you realize is that it learns you, right? The more you type in prompts and ask it questions and tell it more and do different things, it's learning you. So it's learning how to better serve you better, which is what a robot's gonna show up one day and do. Learn how to serve you better. Learn how to think of what you want before you want it. Be able to give you information and respond quickly, efficiently. And if they can deliver it cheaper, it's all going to be a plus. This is where we are. So this to me is why they say we're training it. It's also learning us.
So it's a really good one to look at in terms of the numbers, because you're saying, and DeepSeek saying, that they spent just $5.6 million on this new AI model. Meta last week said it would spend upward of $65 billion. How come DeepSeek was able to crack this code and do it so much more efficiently, and the big guys in the US unable to do so?
First of all, it's hard to speculate, but let's just say the following. There is a cliche that I believe is a cliche for a reason. There are more honors students in China than there are students in the United States. You're talking about a very deep pool of very smart people. That's thing one.
Hey, we resent that. Don't talk to us like that. You heard what he just tried to down us like? Don't do that, bro. What's his name? We can figure out who he is. We gotta have a little talk, homie. I don't like the way he talked. I got us. Don't worry, y'all.
Two, they've been restricted from getting all of the tools they need from the West, including specifically the kind of chips that would do the computation they need to do the advanced computation. This is a mathematical solution to a hardware problem. It's called algorithmic efficiency. They've actually written code that's more efficient than the code that's being used generally in the space throughout the world. So how did they do it? It's open source. You can see their research. They've been very good and transparent.
That's the thing too. They're not hiding it. That's another reason I say they flexed on us. They're not even hiding the code from us. They're like exposing that too.
About publishing their research. They haven't exactly shown the secret sauce, but it is something that we'll be able to replicate. And by the way, the markets are reacting in a knee jerk, and most people don't understand any of what I'm about to say to you. No one in the United States, no American, no company anywhere on earth, to be fair, is going to lay down and die because a couple of engineers figured out a better algorithm. Math is math, and engineering is engineering, and these algorithmic efficiency approaches will be figured out worldwide. Now, what does that mean for NVIDIA's chip prices? What does that mean for nuclear power plants for data centers? What does that mean for future data centers? The jury's still out. By the way, no one's replicated this. For all we know, this is the Sputnik moment, or this is the cyber Pearl Harbor where they faked this whole thing and it really wasn't done for $5.5 million in 2 months. We don't know. My guess is it was done for $6 million, and was done in 2 months. That's my guess. And we're all going to have to rise to the challenge. And by the way, I am confident that everybody will.
Yeah, this is the thing. We were talking about the race, the AI race, and I think this is pretty much indicative of the race that has truly just begun. As you say, yes. You can crack this code. If it's a mathematical solution, then you've got people that could work on it. But you touched on something in terms of the hardware and the GPUs and NVIDIA and so forth, and even what it means for electricity consumption for data centers. If what we're hearing from DeepSeek is in fact all factual, what does it actually mean? Does this change the calculation completely for AI?
So at the moment, it is much less expensive to run DeepSeek R1 locally than it is to, or even in the cloud, than it is to run any of the other models. So the question is not, is this better or worse? The question is, going forward, is algorithmic efficiency, this ability to run smaller models more efficiently, going to be a better path forward than the brute force massive compute models that we've used so far at OpenAI and Anthropic and at Google Gemini and at Llama, for Meta's Llama? We don't know the answer to that. Right now, it points towards two futures. One future is algorithmic efficiency. The other is brute force compute. There's no one in the world who can answer this question right now. It's all speculation. Time will tell. And as you've just said, it's very early days. This is like the beginning of the race. We're nowhere near the end of this race. We've never seen anything come this quickly. We've never seen exponential improvement that has really hit us at this speed. So it's accelerating, and we're going to all learn together. That's just the way it's going to go. And the markets are going to follow along because markets do that.
So that makes me want to go look at some cybersecurity companies. Maybe, what is it, CrowdStrike or something like that. That makes me want to look into that, because if people are going to be diving into DeepSeek and downloading and putting their information and doing different things, I want to look at some cybersecurity companies. And that's how my brain will start to work. Start to try to figure out where are the investors going to go and deploy their money if they take it out in video, which I don't think they will. They may take some, but not all of it. Like he said, NVIDIA is going to figure it out. I believe so as well. So you just have to pay attention and see what's the next move and try to get ahead of it. That's all.